We are on Chapter 8 of The Magic School Bus. Chapter 8 is called Free Falling. Miss Frizzle looked at Arnold carefully. "That settles it," she said, and she pulled out her cell phone. "I'm calling my sister right now." "Woo-hoo!" Professor Frizzle answered the phone. "Hey, sis," Miss Frizzle replied. "Did I catch you at a bad time?" "Not at all," Professor Frizzle replied. "What's up?" "Listen, I really messed up," Miss Frizzle began. "You see, what happened was—" "Wait!" Arnold shouted, cutting off Miss Frizzle. Can I talk to the professor privately?" The other kids quickly stepped aside to give Arnold some space. "You've got it," Miss Frizzle replied, and she pressed a button on her phone. Suddenly, Arnold was zapped with a burst of magical sparkles. A second later, he was hundreds of miles above the earth, free falling through the air next to a skydiving Professor Frizzle. "Ah!" Arnold cried. "Hi, Arnold." The professor greeted him as if they were chatting over cheeseburgers. "What's on your minds?" So here is the picture of Arnold stopping Miss Frizzle from talking to Professor Frizzle because Arnold wanted to talk to her. And then here's a picture after Arnold was zapped into the sky to talk to Professor Frizzle. Right, Arnold said quickly. "There's an invasive plant species in the Galapagos, and it was my fault. I did it. I left it on the island." "Goodness!" Professor Frizzle exclaimed. "Why in the sky would you do that? That plant in place of your mug on your old desk." "Well, it was just too much," Arnold replied. "I know I'm the guy who hates change, but I caused the biggest change ever in the form of plants and bunnies. Can you help us fix this?" "Remember when I said a little magic would help?" Professor Frizzle asked. "Yes, that's it," Arnold shouted. "Magic bunny disappearing spray." Professor Frizzle chuckled. "No, Arnold," she replied. "Wait, the best way to stop an invasive species is to not let it invade in the first place," Arnold exclaimed. "Exactly," Professor Frizzle said proudly. "Good thinking, Arnold. Well, maybe you'd better get back now." Here's a picture of Professor Frizzle skydiving talking to Arnold. And here is a picture of Professor Frizzle and Arnold skydiving together, but Arnold doesn't have a parachute, so that's looking kind of dangerous. But they're talking about the problem. Then she pulled a cord, and her parachute unfolded. Just as Arnold realized he wasn't even wearing a parachute, another burst of magical sparkles surrounded him. A moment later, he was back on the Galapagos Islands. He landed in front of Miss Frizzle and his classmates with a thud. "Arnold, hey!" Miss Frizzle said. Arnold stood up and brushed himself off. "Miss Frizzle, you didn't leave the plant here," he told her, hanging his head. "I did." "What?" The other kids gasped in surprise. "But I know how to fix it," Arnold said apologetically. "We just have to take the plant away before it can cause any trouble." "To the bus!" Miss Frizzle asked. "Oh, I said that wrong. I didn't say it in the form of a question." "To the bus?" Miss Frizzle asked everyone. "To the bus!" Arnold cried, racing ahead of everyone. In the blink of an eye, the bus had transported the entire class back to the Galapagos Islands in the present day. Arnold jumped off the bus. He hurried to the spot where he had left the plant, but he didn't see it anywhere. So here's Arnold and his burst of sparkles coming back to the Galapagos Islands with a thud. And here's Arnold looking for the plant he left on the Galapagos Islands in the present day. "I left it right here," he said, scratching his head. A moment later, the tortoise appeared. The plant balanced on its shell. "Tortoise!" Arnold cried. "Wait up!" But at that moment, the plant slipped off the tortoise's back. It landed with a loud crash, and the pot shattered into pieces. "Uh-oh," Arnold said as the vine stretched out its green tendrils and started to grow. No! Here is the tortoise, and here's the tortoise and the plant falling off the tortoise. And as you can see, that is the end of chapter 8. It's getting pretty exciting. I hope we find out soon if Arnold can fix it or not. Okay, see you next time.